Welcome into another Purple Insider Extra. This Purple Insider Extra brought to you by the Park Tavern in St. Louis Park. The Park Tavern is open 365, rain, shine, snow, day or night, even on Christmas Day. Book bowling lanes or dining reservations by calling 952-929-6810 today. Matthew Coller, our question for this week. Now that the Vikings have finally locked up the NFC North, they are into the playoffs this season. What should their preferred first-round playoff matchup be?
Yeah, it's a great question because all the teams that are fighting for the bottom seeds are pretty flawed and pretty similar in a lot of ways if you're trying to figure out team strength. So if you look at Washington and the New York Giants, you don't have to look very far. The game they played the other day sort of revealed all the strengths and weaknesses of both of those teams. That Washington's defensive front is very, very good. And Saquon Barkley is absolutely back as an NFL superstar. Kayvon Thibodeau is emerging. You saw the play that he made in sacking Taylor Heineke, but also Washington has Taylor Heineke, who may not even continue to be the quarterback if he plays like he did against the Giants. It's hard to say that you're buying Daniel Jones. The Giants defense, it blitzes a lot. It's getting healthier, but it also has plenty of holes in that defense, and some of their numbers are not all that good. So they're a good but flawed team, just like Washington. You look at Seattle, where, maybe Geno Smith is starting to regress a little bit back into the 500 type of quarterback that you would expect a career backup to be, where their offense is less explosive. They're terrible against the run on defense, and they've got some problems there that they're going to need to solve. And not to mention that one of their receivers, Tyler Lockett, is a little banged up as well. I think he'll be back for the playoffs, but playing with an injured finger. So each of these teams, they have their problems, but I think that the matchup the Vikings don't want is really the Detroit Lions. Because the Detroit Lions have been the hottest team in the NFL since they started 1-6. They just won head-to-head in Detroit. Detroit really handled the Vikings even way back when they weren't playing as good at football. That is a motivated underdog type team. And the biggest thing is the Vikings, despite a decent defensive performance against the Indianapolis Colts, they still have a lot of flaws on the defensive side. And that is where it would be most scary, is if you're facing one of the teams with the best offenses in the NFL in the Detroit Lions. So I think what the Vikings are hoping is that Detroit is somehow held out of the playoffs. Maybe they don't win one or two of the next couple of games and the other teams end up in. I think that probably the Giants are the most favorable matchup with which the Vikings can help themselves by beating the Giants, trying to boot them down, to that number 7 seed. But the Vikings also have a battle to hang on to the number 2 seed as well. So there's a handful of teams that they could go against. But I think everybody but Detroit would be an okay matchup for the Vikings.
It's a weird phrase to say about the Detroit Lions going into the playoffs. That's been another Purple Insider Extra for Bring Me the Sports. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Purple Insider Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you, and talk to you next time.